Okay, so quick update. These three fans have been serviced as best as I could. Stuart helped me. So all the screws have been tightened, all have LEDs, and all have 3 shades. This one now has tulip shades because I wanted to use the bowl ones with the trim to fill in all of the other ones that are missing. So this one has different shades, but otherwise, those are all good to go. Okay, so I wanted to do a quick video on this light just so people kind of know what I've got up here. So right now, this is that one light over the stage that hasn't worked in probably 20 to 30 years. What it is it's got a, there's a louvered cover in here. And normally you'd be able to wiggle it out, but because of this new wall that they've added, it can't go, you cannot get it out without like snapping something. The louvers themselves will move a tiny bit, but not much. See what I mean? And it's basically just breaking the paint away every time you do it. But yeah, I mean, they'll move a little, but not, I don't think enough to really be useful. But anyway, if you're curious, that's what the inside looks like. It's just silver with 2 bulbs. Yeah, it's definitely a little, but yeah, for now we've got 200 watt bulbs in there, and I think we're probably just going to kind of treat it as a wall light for now. So, any of the wiring that was crispy or in bad condition is capped off and or disconnected. So anything that was dangerous looking is not in use at all. Like, in fact, I think the only bit of cloth wire that's actually still being used is the main power source, just because again that goes into the wall. That would be very hard to change, so that's in good enough condition to use. That, and then that is spliced onto all new wiring. In fact, every single of the fixtures that was having issues is rewired all the way to the socket. Both exit signs and both of these sconces are rewired all the way to the socket. So original sockets, new wiring. Okay, and then in here, you might notice the exit signs are working now. So they don't have glass at the moment. I actually was able to find some new old stock glass for this particular model on eBay. So those are on the way, and we will have some exit glass back in them very soon. But they are functional, which is really cool. All right, so another update here. So a couple of things we've done. Let's see. So this, I changed these out for some of these Duro test bulbs because for some reason they seem to work really well in these fixtures. So I figured I'd put them in there. This is what I just finished, and holy cow, what a job. But I'm really glad with the results. So all of the sconces are now working. One interesting thing about this one was brass originally. I pulled this away to tighten the socket, but this part right here was brass. And then these were all chrome. But yeah, they're all working, no flickering. They've all got LEDs. This one, I don't know if you remember in the previous video, they had a wire going from a new wiring system, well, new then, out and then to the fixture. I just got rid of that altogether and ran it through the box, kind of like the original would have been. Okay, and then this is the updated sanctuary. His metalness helped me out with some TLC on these fans. There are those 2 and these 4 still need work. I have not done anything with them, but everything else is pretty much done. So that one's all good to go. That one's all good to go. This is the one that in Dan's video was not working because it didn't have a little, wooden knob or, the fob thing on there. So we put a generic one on there. So now that speed can be changed. The Harbor Breezes are both working. I do need to get some LEDs for these yet. For some reason, the big daylight ones I was using don't fit with these shades, so I'm gonna have to get some like narrow ones, but I will have that very soon. These will be daylight LED. I know they're random CFLs at the moment, but also those ones we flipped the blades over to show the oak side because that matches the other fans a lot better. Minor paint splatters, but it's kind of no big deal. I mean, it's annoying that they don't match, but at the same time, this is still a huge improvement over no glass at all. And then these 3 fans, I believe, were all working in the last time I filmed, but I'll just show them briefly. And then this is the big update. A lot of people were wondering about that, so that is now functional. At the moment, we've got 2 daylight LEDs in there, and it is in fact switched by that one painted over old looking switch in the back room. So that, yeah, but the good news is if you leave that switch on, it still will turn off with the breaker. Another thing I wanted to mention, so on these fixtures is actually another really cool feature I didn't realize until I was up there looking. So the 2 sockets, can't really see it on the one that's lighted, but here in that one, you might notice they're a little bit oriented a little differently than the one in the other. Well, it's because each of the sockets in these fixtures are on this kind of like ball and socket type thing. So you can actually move the sockets around and direct them how you want. And I'm guessing that was intended so if you put like a, if you wanted to put floodlights or PARs or, those type of light bulbs in there, you'd still be able to kind of aim them how you want. So for this one, the louvers can also move, but I moved the louvers. I don't know if it's gonna focus, I'll try. I pointed the louvers as far forward as I could without breaking anything, and then also the 2 sockets I put up and down as much as I could so they're not like glaring too bad. But again, you can see on this one how those are pushed almost all the way the other way. So, we eventually get these fixed that can reorient the sockets to be a little more useful. This one does not have the louvers, unfortunately, but we might be able to make them or get something close. Well, just when you thought you were done, I was starting to pack up and realized that this lighted sign was not working, and I know it was before. There's an outlet down there that it's plugged into, and it seems I inadvertently had cut a wire that was going to that outlet, because I saw it was a big mass of wires up there, and I just disconnected everything that was not like either the hot wire that was old, that the original hot and neutral that I need to power everything, and or the new wiring that I added. I didn't realize that the outlets, and there's actually one on the other side too, these outlets are actually also feeding off of that same, it has its own hot wire, but it does not have its own neutral. So I had to, I made a correct guess that the white wire that was not connected to anything was probably the neutral for that, and connected it to neutral up there, and it's working again. So yeah, if you look at the first video, that was not on, and I'm glad I caught that because they probably want that on for service on Sunday. So.
At this water park up in the Wisconsin Dells as a kid. It was like this one gift shop game room that had them all in a huge row.
Oh, no, Blender fans would look awesome. I just don't know if anybody's got enough they want to part with to make them match.
It would.
I like SMCs, but I know these are definitely not the best fans to use here. But
another would have been Zephyrs.
Somebody suggested Victorians, and I could see that too.
Too fancy. For this building, I kind of picture more of a slightly more plain stuff.
Yeah.
Like say either Zephyrs.
Right.
Or
Deltas or.
Yeah, Deltas, or I'm thinking Newtone Veranda Deluxes.
That would look good. I know Dan is not going to part with that.
No.
In a perfect world, yeah.
In a perfect world, I would have said, Newtone Veranda Deluxes all in a row like this would have been a great install.
Oh, absolutely. We think the install itself is pretty cool, though. I mean, in fact, it's neat that they're all the same fan. Dan says these have all been here since he was a kid, but
sure.
I mean, all the SMCs date to '97, so I would assume that's when this was all put up. The funny thing is so those fluorescent fixtures I was talking about.
Yeah.
All the bulbs for them are downstairs. I found them.
Okay.
And they're in a huge pile.
I was gonna say, they can't have had fluorescence in here originally.
Nope, there's the original light right there. See the circle?
Yeah.
Those were incandescent cans.
Oh, really?
And there's another one there. There's one there, and there's one there.
Incandescent cans. If there's any downstairs.
Well, the cans are most likely still up there, and they just plastered over them.
Oh,
Because I couldn't find them. I did look.
because there was, I've seen their cans like what you're describing, except they hang down. They're mount flush to the ceiling. But
Yeah.
they hang down, but large cans.
Those, because clearly those are big ones. I mean, those are probably almost a foot
I've
around.
seen that
Yeah.
in old school gyms before, like mercury vapor was up.
Incandescents original.
High wattage incandescents.
That's probably what these were.
Yeah, but I've seen that in gyms.
Oh yeah. Okay, so another interesting thing, there's actually an incandescent fixture that we can fix. It's just a matter of getting to it. Let me show you where it is.
Okay.
So you see the round vent right here, right?
Yeah.
Do you see that little thing that's close to the wall? That's a light.
Yeah.
I thought that was a vent. Look, there's bulbs in there.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I know where the switch is. It's back there somewhere. But I think well, there's an easier way to get in
Let's
there.
see what this is.
This was like the baptism pool
Oh,
thing.
yes. This is the kind of, okay, my parents'
It has not changed in a long time. So the thing Dan and I were trying to figure out is that some of these might still have power and most of them don't. Not so this furnace right here was recently decommissioned. It's not in use anymore, but this one was used somewhat recently.
Okay.
The old stuff is back there.
Okay. Nice. Oh, wow.
How about that? Yeah, this all dates to approximately 1940 when they put in the current, or the main sanctuary system.
Yeah.
So take a look to the right. You can see the old blower inside that door.
Oh, yeah.
Do you see the giant? That was what pushed out the round vents. It's like the size of Stewart. You see it?
Is it that wheel thing?
Yeah, we see that big, that giant squirrel cage blower in there.
I can't.
It's off to the right a little bit in there.
Okay.
We might have to pull that door back a tiny bit.
Okay.
You can step on that. It's just mushy as all.
Okay. Oh, yes, now I do.
That's what they pushed out the round vents.
Okay.
And then this big thing right here was all the like compressor equipment for the AC.
Okay, compressor. So they did have central.
They did. They did in the 40s.
I didn't know they dated that far back with central air.
Check this out. Look at that.
Air.
That was early Carrier. Look at the logo. I mean, it hasn't changed. It hasn't been like that in a long, long time.
Nice, because I know that one theater in Madison. It's a historic, but I've seen shows at it.
Yeah.
Called the Orpheum,
Okay.
and that they said on there was the first theater.
Okay.
In that area to have air conditioned.
Oh, I believe it.
It was one of the first
In the 40s. All right, so first update of the night, and nothing real exciting, but this is something that's been bothering me quite a bit. I have two new old stock exit sign glass. These came from eBay and was for a grand total of like $25 shipped, which I think was well worth it. Both of the exit signs are operating on the same circuit as the sconces in the lobby, but I just got two, I believe they're 25 watt LED in there, I believe, something like that. But I think they look really good. And I know you can't really see it from far, but if you look closely, there's a little thing there. It says Western Lighting Inc. That's actually the exact same brand as the ones that were in there, so I believe these are actually even the correct manufacturer for these particular signs, but I think they look great. So okay, so minor thing that I did up here tonight. So all four of these are exactly the same. Nothing changed with those. They all still have 60 watt soft white equivalent, or 60 watt equivalent soft white LEDs. With this one and the other sconce, I actually put slightly dimmer bulbs in them. I just thought you could, if you're standing at the front of the stage, these are like glaringly bright. I had 60 watt ones in there as well. I believe these are 25 watt filament kind of ones, and I think they definitely look better. Not as blinding, but at least, still lights it up in here a bit. This, again, the sconces may change, but for the time being, I think these are probably gonna be the keepers. And obviously it's still plenty bright in the front area here. Okay, so another kind of small update, but still worth noting. First of all, when I was here on Sunday and they had the service going on, I had no idea these were lighted, which is really cool. They're just on a power strip right there, but I had no idea those were lights. That's pretty neat. Anyway, with the fans, last time when Pete and I were here, we didn't have, the daylights that I've been using and all the other fans are pretty like physically large light bulbs, and they don't fit with these kind of shades at least. So I got some smaller like fan bulb kind of ones from Menards today that are also daylight and put those in. I mean, I know we're probably not going to even be keeping these fans where they are anyway, but at least, you know, if we want to use the light kit for something else, it's ready to go. But yeah, no, it definitely looks better and matches everything else. So, and then, as a lot of you know, here's kind of where the partition is from the daylight to warm white. Kind of, you know, like right where the stage ends. So another real quick update here. This is the exit sign that is Backstage. This is on the stage left side, way in the back. As you can see, there is the front all the way back. The glass that you're seeing right here is actually the one that was kind of intact in those front signs originally. So I took that one out, and you know, obviously I replaced the other two in front. But figured I put the cracked one back here, so that way at least, you know, it says exit. You know, and no one's really going to be seeing the broken one back here too much, but it's presentable at least. So one thing I thought would be kind of interesting to show, so I was up here working on these lights, and if anyone's curious, here is what it looks like above the drop ceiling. And they actually had crank windows up top too. You can see the vent there. It's probably for heat and AC at one time. Then they had another access door kind of like on the other side. I assume there's probably more tin tiles up there on the other side. But yeah, and the way these tiles are hung, it literally is just nails up in the studs, and then they use, I guess, chicken wire of sorts. I thought these windows were pretty cool. Those were back when they had vent windows up top. There's several different types of ceilings. I've seen that design before. In fact, one of my friends in Indiana's mom's house has that same style. I think that was probably 50s era or so. I mean, clearly they've cut out holes and stuff in it at different times in history, but I would assume that's like a 50s era thing. And you can also see the walls were like kind of a teal color. And then above that, we've got more of those tin ones, which again aren't in the best of shape, but it's cool to see that they're even there. The molding's still there. I believe they had water damage here at one time, like somewhat recently. But yeah, so 3 layers of ceiling right here. Presumably 1914, presumably like 50s, and presumably probably like 70s, 80s, 90s. So pretty interesting. All right, so here's what I've been working on for the last little bit here, or well, long bit. So out of this entire ceiling grid, with the exception of maybe, I think 2, maybe 3 of the fluorescent, you know, troffer kind, we have a complete drop ceiling in here now. And I mean, obviously it's not perfect. There's a lot of, you know, mildewy kind of looking ones. I mean, none that are wet, but I mean, there's some that clearly did get wet at some time, but we don't have any missing anymore. I pulled a couple out of the kitchen just because there were already enough missing in there. Plus, again, toward the back, nobody's going to notice. This, I think, is a big improvement. Again, not perfect, but so I've diagnosed what's going on with all the fluorescent fixtures. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are dead. There's 2 these 2 I didn't take down yet, but the rest of them are right there. And these all had power but do not work, so I'd assume the ballasts are just bad. We're going to replace those very soon. But again, I think that the ceiling looks a lot better. You know, in a perfect world, I'd replace all of the tiles that have any of those like brown stains, but I mean, it's still a heck of a lot better. The shoddiest ones are toward the back. Again, like, you know, you can see some of these aren't in the best of shape, but at least there's no holes. This was a big improvement. We literally had pieces of, you know, plaster and cardboard and stuff just falling down, so at least that's all covered up now. Definitely looks a lot better. And, you know, all the, like I said, well, eventually all the fluorescent things will have covers as well. So.